XRP closing below support yesterday. If this daily candle could close bullish above support, we could possibly run up for 30% here as altcoin season is increasing back up into the 70s and the average crypto RSI is getting out of that oversold state. Is this the buying we need to see to break out of this accumulation and finally start getting some upside? We'll be covering all the opportunities in this episode. Let's get right into it. Starting off the day with Bitcoin here, we did break that 4-hour order block, and now it looks like we're respecting this flip. We do have to take this order block into consideration here. As we could see, price did wick this and then break above, so we can see some buyers here. We can see some strength, but we are going to continue just to look for that break of 107. If we close bullish though on this daily candle, let's look for the break of 117,800 to then go push to highs. But if obviously this daily candle closes bearish, we'll just look for that push down to break that 107 low. As you guys can see on the 4-hour, price tried to hold the low that broke this high here, but we did end up failing and breaking below. So now on this 4-hour, just look for this high of 113,300 to break, and then price then go test this order block or this higher time frame resistance here. Again, if we close bullish on the day, look for the break though of this high 117,800. But if this 4-hour high ends up getting rejected here and we close below this low here, I'd expect price to then go push down to support. Ethereum got rejected out of that 4-hour order block, and we did just go sweep out all the early buyers in this support that broke this high here, in this order block that broke this high. And now we did just sweep out the lows here. So we will just look for continued strength on this daily candle. If we close bullish above this high of 42.50, then we could possibly look for a run to highs or a test of some sort of resistance. But if we close bearish, obviously below this low of about 4,000, price will definitely then go test this higher time frame support of about $3,500. Coming back down into this structure. Again, on the 4-hour, you could see how we're just wicking these lows. And if we break this minor high here of 4,250, we'll look for the price to then go test support up here and return to this accumulation and structure. XRP, we did end up getting rejected out of that higher time frame resistance, and we did say look for the break and retest. Unfortunately, we did close below the support, so possibly flipping it into resistance here, but we do want to see how this daily candle closes here today, because if we close back above this area of 280, we will look for continued strength off of this support. Obviously, if we close bearish though today below this line, it will become resistance and we will get continued rejection off of it. But just look how price accumulates here over the next few days. But now we did leave a nice high where we know there's liquidity, we know there's sellers, and price did go retest this support. Again, this is just a line we did close below, but that's why this daily candle is so important today. Are we going to close back above this line here? We did end up sweeping out these lows on the higher time frame. So if we do see support now, if we do see this candle close strong bullish on the day, we will look for the continued accumulation and test of this support to then go break this high of 319 and then possibly run to highs. So we are forming nice structure if we could get this break of 320. Obviously, that all falls apart though if we continue to close bearish on the day. We will just look for that low to break and then the retest of that zone to then go push down the higher time frame support. Binance coin holding up very well here, respecting those little lows there, filling some imbalance, and it's just looking for continued strength to break these highs of about $1,000. If we end up closing now below this low of 962 though, and below this low of 914, we'll probably end up taking out some of this liquidity we've been wanting to target and testing this structure down here, this higher time frame support. But it does look pretty strong, so over the next few days, just look for the continued blow off to about $1,100. Solana, after breaking that 4-hour order block, we are just looking for the retest of this higher time frame support. but that doesn't mean it can't bounce any one of these order blocks within this accumulation. So again, we'll just look for strength over the next few days. If we close a bullish candle or start getting some strength to push back up, we'll look for the test of the structure, this resistance now at 230. But if we continue to close bearish on these daily candles, we'll obviously look for the test of this higher time frame support at 187. Cardano still accumulating above its support. Again, if this daily candle ends up closing bullish, we'll just look for price to then go test resistance or test highs. But if it closes bearish, just look for the test of the support. If we close below the support, it will become resistance and we will look for continued selling. But again, over the next few days, let's just see how price accumulates on top of the support. Chainlink testing resistance, getting rejected, and now we did break this low here. So we will look for the test of this higher time frame support here that broke this low. But if we end up closing bearish on this daily candle, then we will obviously look for the push to that higher time frame support, matching up with our break of structure here. Stellar Lumens testing resistance, getting rejected, sweeping out the lows now. So if we see strength and we close bullish on this daily candle or in the next few days, we'll look for another test of that resistance now. But if we close bearish below these lows of 34 cents, we will obviously then go test higher time frame support. And I would like to point out we have some beautiful fib levels here, high to low, bringing us to this high here that broke that changed character at about 33 cents. So there is some potential to still get some retracement here, but if buyers step in, like I said, and if we see strength, we could have a lot of upside here if we could get the break of this high of 41 cents and then the retest of that resistance. But obviously that is the optimistic outcome of this. We are trending below resistance now. So holy moly, Avalanche, what a test of that support, what a test of that order block, filling in balance, testing support just like we said. And it does look like price swept these highs as well. So now we are just accumulating with pretty much all the liquidity swept. And again, over the next few days, we'll just mark this as a range and see if we could close above these highs or below these lows to then get an idea of direction here. On the 4 hour, we could see how this high is sweeping, but this accumulation that broke structure here did end up respecting perfectly. And now we will just look for the break of this $36 high or the break of these lows of 32 to then go test this support again. Hedra, much like Stellar Lumens, again, that support flipped resistance, got rejected. So we are trending below resistance. We will look for the retest and then the possible break of lows here. But I would like to point out this is looking like a sweep right now. So if we do close bullish and strong in the next few days and push back above that resistance, we will then look for the break and retest again. And then the break of these highs here of 25 cents for the bigger push here to break highs and test higher time frame resistance. Obviously, if we close below these lows of 20 cents, though, we will just look for higher time frame support. Litecoin, adding Litecoin to the list because, let's be honest, it deserves to be on the list. We respect our OGs here at Crypto Charts Daily. We do see how price reacted from support, reacted from resistance, and then broke above that high that got rejected. So we are trending upwards, and now we could see how price has been testing this support of 103. And if we continue to close bullish, we will just look for price to break these highs of 122 and then these highs and test higher time frame support. But obviously, guys, if we close bearish below 103, we'll just look for the test of that resistance then and the push back down to lows. Polkadot failed to break the highs, and we did say we'll get retracement into this support, into these lows, and that's exactly what we're seeing. So price is wicking out here, and if we do see a bullish close on the day, we'll just look for price to push the highs. But if we close bearish on the day, obviously we'll look for the break of this support. Uniswap broke below the support that broke that high, and now it does look like we're going to retest that higher time frame support that broke the structure over here. If we don't end up coming down though and testing this support, look for price to close strong back above this failed support for then the break of this high of $10. Ondo Finance, you can see how we got rejected at the support and resistance flip. We are kind of trading within a range of 90 cents and $1, but we did get rejected at this dollar resistance, psychological resistance, as well as technical. So we will just look for the retest and the push to break the lows, or the break of this resistance zone for then the break and retest and the eventual break of these highs of about $1.16. Polygon doing exactly what we thought, getting rejected at 30 cents, sweeping out this accumulation and this liquidity, testing higher time frame support. And again, we will just look for strength to push out of this support and test higher time frame highs and support, or we'll just look for the bearish close to then go break the lows. Algorand failing to hold that 4-hour order block as well as our higher time frame support, so we did just break structure to the downside and we are trending below resistance here. If this does just end up being a sweep of early buyers and we could see some strength, some closes back above this resistance, it will become support again, and we could look for the break of the highs of 25 cents to then go test higher time frame support. But obviously we are trending below resistance, guys, so just look for continued selling or the test of this resistance. Quant actually still holding this support that broke this high, so we will just look for continued strength to break this high of 105.65 to then go test that higher time frame support. But if we get rejected and close bearish on the day or the next few days, look for the break of the lows of 86.78 to then go test that higher time frame support of 79.49. IOTA breaking that support that price tried to hold, sweeping out these buyers, sweeping out the order block, perhaps returning into this structure down here. We did see it wick that structure, and if we could close bullish back above this support, we'll look for the push to these highs of 20 cents and then look for the higher time frame highs to be tested. But if we close bearish on the day, again below or in this order block, we'll look for price to then go sweep these lows. IOTA, again, just accumulating above the support of 6 cents. So we'll look for the high to break of 8 cents to then go push up to this higher time frame support, or we'll look for the test of 6 cents to then go test that higher time frame support. Well, that concludes Wednesday's episode of the Crypto Charts Daily Report. If you watched this far, comment Crypto Charts Daily in the comment section below. And if you appreciate this technical analysis, like, comment, and subscribe, and share with your friends that you told to buy cryptos at highs. All right, guys, I'll see you Friday. Peace out.